Now the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's jump in and do a demonstration of the new RCReports platform. After logging into RCReports, this is the main dashboard that you'll be directed to. Immediately you should notice the new user interface. It's much cleaner, well organized, and easy to navigate. On the left, we have all of our modules just as before, but here in the center of the screen, you'll see at the top that we feature different stages of reports. These stages here are associated with our new tasks module. So whether I click tasks here on the left, or if I just want to click one of these cards, I go to the same place. You'll notice when I click on the open interviews, I am immediately taken to the tasks module where I can see all of the clients with open interviews waiting to be completed. I can easily see clients who have finished their interviews and have reports in the edit window. And here I have a list of all of the clients that I've input who have not yet had a reasonable compensation report done for them. On the far right, I have a reports due button. This card will populate with a list of clients 1 year after I ran the initial report for that client. These two cards allow me to keep track and make sure that I'm running reports for my clients every year. I'm now going to navigate to my clients module. Here, you'll see a list of all of my clients. As I mentioned before, all of your clients, both archived and active clients, will be migrated over to RCReports. You'll see in this client module that things are much better organized. I'm also given the ability to sort by report count, subreports, run date, or filter my clients by status, by name, or by company. This company feature is very helpful for those companies with more than one shareholder. I simply filter by that company, and here are the two shareholders associated with that company. I'll go ahead and remove this filter, and let's click into one of these companies. And we have Nick Miller here who needs a reasonable compensation report. To run this report, I click the new report button, and I continue on as I did before, where I specify the purpose of the report, the approach that we're using, and if needed, we'd have our help prompts here on the right. And I also specify the year associated with the report. Let's run this for 2024. We'll go ahead and allow Nick Miller to see his report after it's completed and click the next button. And here's a screen where I'm able to either email Nick a copy of the interview. I can copy myself on that email as well. Or let's click here and begin the interview ourselves. Here is the new look and feel of the client interview. Here on the left are the steps that we'll have to go through. This is where I specify the number of hours, the state, and the county. If you remember the state and county fields in Legacy, instead of being drop downs, they were word walls that were a little hard to navigate. Once I've done that, we'll click Next, and here is the standard tasks page. It's a similar layout where I can navigate through each category and select the task that I'm performing for my business. You'll likely remember when we get to the management screen that we want to be aware of the chief executive and general operation manager's task. And just as before, if I try to click those tasks, I'm going to get an alert letting me know that these tasks have a high wage. If I need to remove any of these tasks, I can simply do so by coming over here on the right where each task is listed and clicking this X button. This is an improvement where in our old platform, the tasks that you selected were not listed in groupings on the right. Rather, you had to go back into the category to either select or unselect a task. Moving on to our business tasks section, it's similar as before, where we come in and we start to type the name of the task. As we do, you'll see that the task list is populated. We'll go ahead and specify a real estate agent, and you'll see a summary appears next to each task. After selecting that task, we'll jump to Next, Tasking and Proficiency. You'll notice on this page that we will immediately begin to specify the time and the proficiency for each of the tasks. We have actually streamlined things and removed an extraneous step that we found in our old platform. In the old platform, we required you to specify time per category. Instead of making you specify time per category and then specify the time per tasks, we take you directly into tasking and proficiency for each task, which should make it simpler for you and for your client. Now for this real estate agent task, I'll move him to above average. And here we have our review page where we lay out a summary of what we've specified for this client. I can view the report by clicking here, and now you'll be able to see the new look and feel of the reasonable compensation reports. These have been updated to look more modern. You'll see you can still upload your logo here at the top, and the information is exactly the same as it was before. However, the look and the feel is updated and much more professional, especially with the header on each page that specifies the year, report, approach, and the name of your client. Now that we've run a report for Nick, let's jump back into RCReports and open his client profile. Here we have Nick Miller again with the report that we just ran. Notice the difference we have here where we call out the approach, the time to finalization, and the compensation, all by simply looking at Nick's profile. We no longer have to do a deep dive and run the reporting. If we do click on that compensation, we can view that report PDF, send an email to Nick with that report attached. We can view the interview again, send him the interview again, or we can finalize the report from this screen. I'll go ahead and finalize this report. And when I do finalize that report, when I click back into here, you'll see I can actually generate an entity plan directly connected with that reasonable compensation report. This is going to save you quite a few clicks and a lot of time. Now, when I click the open button, I have my entity planning tool. Notice that the reasonable compensation field is automatically populated for me with the reasonable compensation that I just generated for Nick. I'll go ahead and enter some dummy figures in here so you can get an idea of what the new entity plan looks like. Notice as I type that in here at the top, my entity plan is automatically populated. Here I have my graph, and here I have the data breaking down year by year the tax savings Nick would experience by moving to an S Corp. And here at the very top, we have our recommendation showing that he would save about $114,000 by moving to an S Corp. And what's really great about this is here at the top of the page, I can view the entity plan report right away. So let's view that report, and here we have a breakdown that you can deliver to Nick and show him exactly what he should do and why. Jumping back into RCReports again and going back to Nick Miller, if I pull up his report, I see my entity plan report associated with that specific reasonable compensation report. These two are now associated with one another. I'll also be able to see in the main client screen that Nick has one reasonable compensation report and he has one sub-report. That sub-report being the entity plan. Moving along, I'll open our resource library. Our resource library maintains the same information as it did before. However, we've added a couple of resources. One that I mentioned earlier was this ebook about how to leverage reasonable compensation and ignite year-round advisory revenue. Next up is our tools module, where we have our entity planner, which I just showed you, and we also have our wage lookup tool. This wage lookup tool allows you to quickly look up the compensation for a role by state and county by simply typing in the name of that role. So let's go ahead and type in real estate once again. And as I do so, all of the different real estate roles will pull up here for me. If I click on a real estate agent, I can easily see the different wages for a real estate agent in Columbia County and how they compare to the state and nationwide wages. This is also broken down by proficiency level here as well.